الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll resume the lesson where we left. So we've been going through Surah Baqarah, and I think we are at this ayah time, or did we do some of that? Could you recall which ayah we stopped? In my, according to dates, that was the one we were supposed to. Did we do this ayah? Oh, yeah, so that's the one. 130. We did up to 129. I think, yeah. I got a little confused with which I had to start with, alhamdulillah, which means we're in the right ayah. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن يرغب عن ملة إبراهيم إلا من سفه نفسه ومن يرغب عن ملة إبراهيم إلا من سفه نفسه من سفه نفسه and من who يرغب رغب يرغب رغب يرغب from باب سمع راغب يرغب mean to have رغبة, to have liking, and if you use it with an after it, it means that you have dislike for it, becomes opposite, liking against it. And if you have raghaba fi, so you have liking in something. Raghba, raghbat, in Urdu we say raghbat, you're raghib to do something, you have got some inclination, you fall for it, you like something. So raghbat means that you want it. Have you got, as we say, have you got appetite for this? So you have appetite for it. You like to have that. If you use an after this, it means you don't like it. It's completely 180 degrees away from that, opposite to that. It means you do not like it. So it means who would turn away, who would be averse to Millata Ibrahim, from the Millah, from the nation of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Who would turn away from the religion of Ibrahim alayhi salam? Except illa man safiha, who ridiculed nafsa, his own self. Means the one who has been making himself food. Safiha means to make someone food. The one who is ridiculing himself, actually. Who could turn away from Ibrahim alayhi salam? Ibrahim alayhi salam is such a personality that every major religion in the world would accept him as their leader, including Hindus, Sikh, Muslim, everyone. They all consider him to be the Imam. They all have that special, not Sikh, sorry, Christianity, that's an offshoot of Hinduism. But traditionally, in all previous scripture, you will find Ibrahim alayhi salam being mentioned. So, Ibrahim alayhi salam. So, anyone who is turning away from him is actually ridiculing himself, as Allah says. وَلَقَدْ اصْطَفَيْنَاهُ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَلَقَدْ اصْطَفَيْنَاهُ فِي الدُّنْيا. Surely, verily, most definitely, اصْطَفَيْنَا, we have chosen who, him, fi, in dunya, in this world. We have chosen him in this world. Istafa yastafi means to choose, to select. Mustafa is from this Mustafa. Okay, the Mustafi is the person, the individual who selects or chooses someone. Mustafa is the one who's been selected and chosen. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Mustafa, the one who's been chosen. Objective form of that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that we have chosen him in this world. وَإِنَّهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ لَمِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. Remember, ra would be always pronounced with full mouth, rounded mouth. if it has fatha or dhamma. آخرة آخرة وإنه في الآخرة لمن الصالحين.
وإنه في الآخرة لمن الصالحين.
آخرة وإنه في الآخرة لمن الصالحين.
وإنه في الآخرة لمن
حين with the breath sound. حين. This is fast sound. حين. And indeed he is fil akhirah, in the life hereafter, in the second life, that word. Lam in Islam, this one is of ta'qid, will definitely be from the righteous. As-salihun, from the righteous people. He will be counted among the righteous, obviously, on the day of judgment, after that day, in Jannah. He'll be among the best of the best. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving an incident, something that would happen. So what happened to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's question to him? إِذْ قَالَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ أَسْلِمْ.
إذ قال له ربه أسلم
قال أسلمت لرب العالمين.
قال أسلمت لرب
Remember when قال said, le for him means to him, when said to him, Rabbuhu, Rabb, his Rabb. When his Lord, when his Rabb said to him, Aslim, means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him to submit. Qala, he said, Aslamtu li Rabbil Alameen. I submit. I already submitted. I submitted to Lord of the universe. That's the beauty. Islam or Muslim means someone who submits to the authority. You are commanded to do something, you just accept without questioning, without hesitation, without any laziness, without any abhorrence, with zeal, with love, with affection. You feel like doing it. It's not like, okay, I will do it. Okay, let me think about that. Can I just do it from tomorrow? Can I just have 5 extra minutes? Outcome maybe I've got this time that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala submit. They would just subhanallah. And that's the beauty. That is why. So we've seen what happened in the life of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. Father said, get out of the house. Okay, get out of the house. The throwing it in the fire, accept. Migrate out of the city, did that. Leave your children here, another one there, accept it. Slaughter him, accept. There was no second in his life where he actually thought of maybe 1 second, just here and there, immediate. That is why he is revered in the Quran in such a way that you feel like, wow, amazing. That is why in the heart tashahhud we have ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sallam. Kama sallayta. Khalil of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Very high eminence. So he's, after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he's the best. They're the best. They're all 5 top ones, but Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the top one. But they're very high. They're very high prophets, mashallah. ووصى بها إبراهيم بنيه ويعقوب Now, after that he has taken everything on board, accepted everything, submitted it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all his will, all everything that he has. And then he did not stop there. He then advised his children, his family. So, and wawassa. Wassa means, first waw is and wassa means, wassa yuwassi, tawsiyatan means to advise, to send the will. In Urdu we say wasiyat. You heard the word wasiyat? Wasiyati. Wasiyat actually means advice, but it also means advice at the last moment, before you die. You will. It's called wasiyah as well. So wawassa, he advised, instructed, biha of it, of what? Submission. Be Muslim, O my children. Ya baniya, come at the end. O my children. Who did he say? Banihi, his children. He advised who? Ibrahim alayhi salam and Yaqub. Ibrahim and Yaqub both. They both. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to the people of book. He's appealing to them. Whatever you are being commanded to do, your forefathers, Ibrahim, Ishaq, and Yaqub, and then Yaqub is the title of Bani Israel. Israel is the title of Yaqub alayhi salam. So you are connected to them. You are the children of Israel. So look at what they said. They just submitted to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever has been given to Ibrahim, Ishaq, Yaqub, Yusuf, they just accepted it. Here you are, you don't listen, you don't follow. What are you doing? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after mentioning whatever happened, all those incidents, finally going on to giving them this idea that let's remind ourselves of what happened. So when he instructed of it, Ibrahim, his children, and Yaqub, saying what? Ya baniya, oh my children, Ya bani, ya baniya, oh my children. إن الله اصطفى لكم الدين فلا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. Ibrahim alayhi salam, Yaqub alayhi salam, both advised their children of this. O my children, Ya Baniya, indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, istafa, Allah has chosen, selected, la for, kun, you. Allah has chosen for you what? Ad-deen. Allah has chosen you this deen. This deen is what? Submission. That is why Islam means submission. Islam means submission. Some people say Islam means peace. That's wrong. Islam does not mean peace. Salam means peace. Salam, similar root letters, and that has been extracted from the same root letter. But Islam means submission. Through submission to the authority of Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would come the peace. That's why salamati has got a connection. But Islam does not mean peace. Okay? Islam means submission. Islam means submission. Salam means peace, which is why we say salam to each other. Okay? So he said, Fala, so do not, tamutunna, never ever do die. Don't you die, illa except while until you are Muslimun, while you are in complete submission. Says Muslims, obviously, but it means you are in complete submission. So don't die except in the complete submission or submissive state to Allah. The state that you are literally listening to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Achieve that. It's not that I will pick selective instructions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, some of the sunnahs and instructions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whatever appeals to me, whatever doesn't go with me, I'm not going to take that. That's not a Muslim. A Muslim would take everything. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Udkhulu fi silmi kaffa. Enter Islam in totality. Kaffa, all of that. You can't have halfway through or whatever. So the definition of a Muslim is someone who submits to the authority without questioning. You can understand the logic and wisdom behind things, that's fine. All you need to know is that what my Lord asked me to do. There was a Sahabi who was going past the Masjid Nabawi. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam inside the Masjid was giving the khutbah. In that talk, he said to someone who was standing at the back, Ijlis, sit down. Standing in the Masjid doesn't appeal. So he sat down. When the Masjid finished, people left. And this is afternoon, hot day. Medina hot day. So there's a man sitting with log on his head. They said, what are you doing? Oh, I heard Rasulullah because he was going from there, he could hear from outside. He said, I heard Rasulullah saying, sit down. I just sat down. Oh, he wasn't saying it to you, he was saying it to that individual inside you were there. I don't know. I heard my Prophet telling me to sit down. He just said, sit down. That's enough for me. I'm not going to change it until he tells me not to sit down. So then the person said, you could have taken the law off before sitting down, or what? If I die during that transfer, I would die as a disobedient, and I would to die as a Muslim. They were very simple people. They would not question. Someone just asked in the class a couple of days ago, would Sahaba have all those understanding? They were not interested in knowing this and that, all the details. Is that what I'm supposed to do? I will not leave anything. I would put all my efforts into doing that. Wallahi, I would not do more or less than that. I would do exactly as you say. This is what Sahaba would. I would just do it. I would lay my life on that. That is why they achieve the level. So Allah said, do not die except in. We don't know. When would we die? What does that mean? There's only one way. Be a submitting slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. Not in Ramadan, not while in the masjid. You're from top to bottom. You're from head to toe. You are wrapped with the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through submission. Then you die, inshallah, in the state of Islam. So that is required. This is what they said, and this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us. And that would come in Surah Al Imran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha haqqa tuqatih wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. Same thing. Do not die, any of you, except in the state of complete submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who you believe. And you can only do that through taqwa. Taqwa means not disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not at all. Carrying out all the do's and staying away from all the do's. Nafarmani nahi. Allah ki koi nafarmani nahi hogi. You have no right to decide this much or that much here or there. Instruction is instruction. This is written like this. You can't say, I'm going to take out of these 20 injunctions 7 or 8 or 9. You take it, all of it. Just accept it. You move on. The difference with the law, that since we see the trouble if we don't follow all the guidelines, can you say that from the traffic laws, I accept these 20? This 20 limit, I'm not going to ask here. I'm not going to follow that. Do whatever. Whether you hate that, and some of them we hate, we still stick to that. We accept that. That's submission. But the difference here is that you do from the depth of your heart because you love Allah. You don't do it thinking that, oh, you know what. All you need to know, is that what my Lord wants? I don't want to go into Noah's discussion whether this is fard, wajib, sunnah, sunnah mu'akkada, taqlid, makruh, tahrimi, or tanzihi, or mustahab, or mubah. I don't know, and I don't want to know. All I want to know is that what would bring me close to my submission status? Yes, I'm going to do that. I would try. If I couldn't, that's obviously as a weak human being, Allah would forgive me. Rather than, and this is what everyone is doing these days. You see our state. So, wasfa, the wasiyah, is an important word, just a few points on that. Advice, also used for will. Abdullah ibn Umar, the companion, he said that Rasulullah said it is not befitting for a Muslim who has something to make a will of, like some monetary possessions, some assets, to remain for 2 nights without having one's last will and testament written and kept ready with one. Hadith is Sahih Bukhari. Important. But the problem is, whenever we talk about will, what's the first thing coming to your mind? That money, who should I give it to? What proportion to my children? What proportion to my parents or whoever is left behind, my spouse? That's not the will we're talking about. That will is already been clearly documented by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you have no way of controlling that. You can't do anything. So remember, whatever asset you are leaving behind after you die, whatever is left with from your asset, It's not yours anymore. Okay? It would automatically go to your heirs. And Allah has apportioned that who would get what, how much. Every individual has their own proportion identified and decided. So we do not need to worry about that. What you are entitled to, though, from all those assets, you can donate a third of that, up to a third of that. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, even a third is enough, do less than that, or up to a third. Doesn't have to be a third of everything that you have. If you have 1,000, 100,000 pounds, then only a third. That you can give to someone who is not your heir. You can't give that to your children, your wife, your parents. If your siblings are going to be your heir, because you do not have children at home or no parents after passed away, then the siblings would be, your siblings would be heirs to that. You can't donate to them. You can't donate, oh, I want to give it to my wife because I want her to be having a decent life after I die. You want to do it? Do it. You are in charge of your wealth while you are alive. Do it now. You want to hand over everything to your one son out of 5? If you're doing that with the sense of doing injustice to them, that's haram, but you will be punished on the day of judgment. In dunya, you can do it. They'll be counted as done. But Allah will question you there. It is haram, but still your choice. You can opt for giving anything to anyone in your life. That's hiba. Hiba is a gift. Gift, you are allowed to give to anyone. You can give to your mom, your dad, just whoever, within your lifetime, handing over to them. You can't say, oh, after I die. No, after I die doesn't make sense. The minute you are dead, that doesn't belong to you. It's not yours. For that you would leave behind, you have control over 1/3, up to 1/3. Then you can give to whoever you want to do, other than your heirs. La wasiyata li waris, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? Because the waratha, the heir would get whatever the share is. So, for example, as soon as someone dies, their parents, mom and dad, if they're alive, they would get 1/6 of all of your assets each. 1/6, 1/6. Whatever is left from there, if you have children, then your wife would get 1/8. If you have no children, 1/4. A quarter would go to her. Whatever is left would be distributed among the others. So, for example, the wife got 1/8, mom 1/6. That's the normal scenario. The children would get the rest, depending on if they're all boys or girls. Then 2-to-1 with that ratio. Like boys double, girls single. Now you do not know who's going to live after you. You can't. Allah made it so easy and simple. We sort it out. We give you a formula, or we apply it to anyone and everyone. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given a very clear instruction. Yusikumullahu fi awladikum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you advice how to do the inheritance. That is all jotted down there. Okay, so when we come to that, we'll deal with that inshallah in detail. So it's not about money. It's mostly about few important points, especially living in the West. The will that we need to be worried about is whether we're in East or West. Number one, what would happen to me after I die with regards to my debts? Have I got any debt? Make a note of that so that from my asset, please do that. The heirs, if you do a will, then that will be done. After you die and you left behind some debt to you, you're in debt, and you made a will, then the heirs are responsible to do it. They would excuse if it is within 1/3. If it's more than that, that's up to the children. If they want to do it for any heirs, they might opt for it or not. That's up to them. But 1/3, because that was your wealth, they would do from only 1/3. If it was more than that, that's up to the children. Yet, if you never made that into your will, they're not obliged. If they're good children, they might do it. If they don't do it, they would not be questioned. You'll be punished for that. So that's the important thing. To save yourself first before you think about children's dunya. Fear for your akhirah, man. Second, any time someone dies, the wealth they've left behind, first of all, they get their janazah. They have to have the janazah, so provision for that within that one. That will be taken. Then the qard, if they had up to 1/3, whatever loan they had, will be paid. And after that, if there was wasiyah done in 1/3, if there was done. After that, they will be all according to this distribution. Second thing you should be concerned about with your will is about your prayers that you haven't prayed, your fasting that you've missed, your zakat that you haven't paid. Make a note of that. I have started performing my prayer. If I die before I complete, please ensure that that is paid. That is something that someone would take pity on you and support you. So that remember, that's all four schools agree on that. You have to make up for the missed prayer that you didn't after being Muslim, out of ignorance, laziness. You have to make up for that. Otherwise, umri we call it. There's an easy way of doing it, just do it. The will that you need to write is about the loan that you owe people, as I said, plus you may be a recipient of something. So you have donated to someone else as a loan. So your heirs need to know that so that they can claim. Like what you owe others. If you want to forgive, that's a different matter. That's up to you writing down but you have to do within your lifetime. You can't say, after I die, please forgive it. That's not your wealth anymore. So automatically theirs, they will decide. Okay? So don't say that after whatever. After that, you are just gone. That's not your wealth anymore. Within your life, you can do whatever. So the best thing is to say, please execute all my asset in accordance with Sharia, in accordance with Islamic law, based on this fiqh or that fiqh, if you have any difference. Generally, they all agree on, because this is the Quran, so it's agreed upon. Very subtle difference of very, very minute issues. Generally, it's all agreed upon. So you say that, Mufti so and so, but don't mention the name because he might die before you. So say that masjid, that institute, such as the big center. So there'll be some Mufti after even the first one died before you. And another very important aspect is about the custody of your children who are minors, who are not pubertal, because where would they go? Who would look after them? You should be thinking about them, so that many a time they are handed over to not the relatives, but someone who, if they go to, for example, God forbid, non-Muslim family, then what? Social services, they found the best person.
If you're after dying, अपनी life में you can give anything.
Anyone.
So that is all.
That is your money. You can do whatever. You can throw it all away. You can give it to me. It's good. Within your life, you can give whoever you want. But if you are unjust there, unjust means that you're doing to deprive someone. I hate this one and I like this one. You can do it, but as long as there's a reason. So he's so bad, and I don't want him to have anything for a reason, good reason, that he's not practicing. He's been torturing me. He's been always like whatever. Then you do it. That's justified. But remember that you would have to have justification for that. It's just because he looks more like his mother and I don't like. If that is the case, or he's more inclined towards mother and I have hatred with my ex-wife, whatever, but we split or whatever, and then that's crazy. So if you're just doing unjustly, you would have to justify that. Because that person on the day of judgment will claim, Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my father deprived me of the will. Remember, there was a Sahabi who came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I think it's father of Nu'man ibn Bashir, I think. Perhaps. I might be mistaken, both. He had older sons, older children, and then he married the second or third wife with a very young 10, 12 year, very small boy, 10-year-old, maybe younger. He came with that. There was Nu'man. So, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I have got a big piece of land, and my wife wanted to get that rich enough for this. I want to write a will for my son. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, have you got other children? Yes, I've got other few children as well. Are you giving them something similar? He said, no, it's just for him. So, don't get me witness on that because I don't want to be part of this unjust distribution of your wealth. So he said, get someone else to do it, but not me. I'm not interested. Means that this is dhulm. Why are you giving it to one, not the others? Thinking that, oh, he would need it when he grows. It will happen. The wife, you know, what if he die? Well, who will look after my young one? That's what they say. So he wanted to do it for them. And obviously, remember, Sahaba, Allah made them do those things so that we have example and we can follow that. So don't do that. Don't you think that older children would need somebody as well? In fact, they need more. They've got their own families and children. So we say, oh, they're earning, so they don't need it. Why would they not need it? They all are equal. They should all get the same. Oh, this one is not married yet. Let me give her more or him. Crazy. They all need it.
So, for example, if you've got children, say 3 or 4, and you want to help them, whatever, in their life, and boys and girls, could be helping them in equal amounts.
Yeah, you can make them equal.
Doing them like
What you can do 2-to-1 ratio as well. You can do all of them. But I have got that. Yeah.
like
Again,
which option would be better?
same equal. When they're alive, give them equal. Whatever is their need. Equal means whatever. So it may be that the daughter is more in need of that. Your son is, mashallah, completely independent. The husband, like your son-in-law, is not earning much. Give him anymore. So whatever you want, whichever way you want to do, that's your money. You give it to your children, to your friend, masjid, charity. And that's another important point with regards to wasiyah. Leave some within your lifetime for donation. So that your sadaqah jariyah continues. Some masjid, some good place. We hardly ever do that. It was quite common in the olden days. People would leave their places for waqf. They would be for masjid, for madrasa, for different righteous people's place or whatnot. Yes, you can give it to whoever, up to you.
It's justified.
Completely justify. You have to justify that.
It's justified based on their income, their means of
Yeah.
You can, so it helps.
Exactly. As long as you do not intend to harm them by that. It's my personal grudge against, whatever. Yeah, if they've been completely bad, that's a different matter. That's justified. Don't give them much. Why? Okay. Yes. So there's certain institutes, they have that standard template and you can just use that, write it down. If you just call IDA UK, they've got good service for that. A few other places as well. That's wrong. That's not your prerogative. How old is the son? He's adult. Don't police people. That's going to be a dhulm. You do not deprive people because he doesn't pray. Obviously, he's lazy. Ask your cousin, when did he start praying? From 13-year-old? From 30-year-old. So did he not know about the prayer from 30 to 30? He wasn't praying then. He's at that station. Inshallah, that he would come to that level. Give him 5 more years, he'll be 30 and he'll start praying. That's the problem. We police people. Don't police. I would tell you off for certain things. Not coming to the class, even that's as simple as that. So what? Does it mean that I start hating you for that? Obviously not. We do not hate people because they are. Remember, there's so many different reasons people have why they can't pray or why they don't pray. Be nice and gentle to them. We are not musaytir. We are not hafid, wakil. Rasulullah was told, you are not supposed to make them Muslim. You just give the message, leave it. We will guide whoever we want to guide. Your job is to just impart the information, teaching, knowledge. That's it. Not at all. Yeah, obviously, if they leave the faith for whatever reason, if they don't believe in the prayer being for outside of the fold of, so then whether you like it or not, they wouldn't inherit at all. It's not, that's barring. Father, a Muslim parent cannot inherit, cannot sell the inheritance to their non-Muslim children, like vice versa. The Muslim and Kafir, that's mawani from the mawani where it's mawani is mean the thing that would stop you from inheriting from your parents for those reasons. Okay. Likewise, qatil. The killer cannot inherit from the father. So he killed father for getting the money out. You know the ruling. He said, oh, my father passed away, he had a lot of wealth. Somebody killed, I don't know. It's just how come that you did it. You actually hastened to get that money, unbeknown to you, that you would never ever get even a penny from that. You're barred from getting that. Our Sharia is so beautiful, covers everything, alhamdulillah. We'll mention all of that. So remember, a gift. Gift you can give to anyone, just whoever you want to do. You can do according to 2-to-1 ratio. You could do all equal, whichever way. You can't deprive your. You can't tell, oh, because I gave a lot of money while she was getting married, on the wedding or whatnot. That was a gift. You can't include that in your inheritance. Completely wrong. Never ever do that. If there is an Islamically valid reason, such as one child being extremely disobedient or involved in open sinning, it would be permitted to give him less for that reason. But ask Mufti. He is not listening to you when you ask him to pray because he has got some personal grudge against you. You may be an abusive father. According to his standard, may be wrong. You may be, according to him, not a good husband to mother. So he's got some negativity against you. So you keep asking, you keep forcing him to pray since childhood, and he felt that, you know what, if he wants it, I'm not going to do it. So psychologically, he's trying to take his revenge, showing his resentment against your ill treatment. He might just have bad impression about you, not for a valid reason, wrong reason. Try to improve it, sort him out, because he would be in hellfire if he has, wrong understanding of that. So communicate. If you can't do directly, get someone else to be there. That's the problem. People don't stay with ulama and shuhada, sulha. They don't understand that. We'll leave that there, inshallah. Yeah, any question? You can ask questions. Yeah, they go.
Connected to the translation here.
Second.
You know, we do the translation here.
Uh-huh.
Just connected to the translation.
Wassa. The word was when Ibrahim alayhi salam, so the next would come. So the wassa, the word wassa means to do wasiyah, to do the will. So when Yaqub alayhi salam and Ibrahim alayhi salam were on their deathbed, both of them, alayhi salam, they advised their children. The last wasiyah was, what was their last will to the children? So their will was to be Muslim, to be submissive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. So I was coming to that, but I thought let's just have a bit of idea, flavor of that. But the most important wasiyah is, which will come next. So advise them about akhirah. Our discussion in the last, इसका ये कर देना, अम्मा का ख्याल रखना, उसका ये कर देना. कोई आखिरत की फिक्र ही नहीं, सारी सबकी दुनिया की फिक्र. Then, if you look at the wasiyah of the pious people, you would read it and say, there's nothing mentioned about your career, your studies, your job, your house, nothing. All about how to behave. Make sure that मुझे जल्दी ghusl दे देना. Don't delay my burial. Make sure that no one cries. Make sure that I'm just been like, everything is done according to Sharia. No innovations, no bid'ah, nothing. If that, alhamdulillah, that's the beauty. So they were concerned about their life, after life, and their children. This is what he's going to say, Yaqub alayhi salam to his inshallah. Okay.